Yeah. All right. So, what we want to talk about today is how to use command, specifically how to use smart plans in command. Um, and we're really going to focus on using smart plans to connect with your sphere. Okay. So, and the reason we're doing this is because we've spoken recently a lot, right? Some of you attended that boot camp, some of you didn't. But we've talked a lot recently about staying in touch with your sphere. All right, so just to get started, why am I doing that? Like, why is it so important to stay in touch with your sphere? Come off of mute and just chime in.
I think you
So
don't
that way
want
you're,
to go ahead,
go ahead,
Isaiah. Go ahead.
Larry.
Oh, go ahead, brother.
No,
Go ahead.
I was going to say just so that way people, just coming from experience, people in my sphere have purchased with another agent, and it's like, bro, I'm right here. I've been here the entire
Yeah,
time, and then they're like, oh, I
yes.
forgot. So,
That is
uh,
the worst. That's happened to, if it hasn't happened to you yet, it will happen to you sometime, and it's the worst feeling. It is the worst feeling, 100%.
yeah,
What were you going to say, Larry?
No, I was going to say exactly. It happened to me with
Yeah.
with a family member, and
Ugh.
just to be a little transparent, this the time I seen the family member after that, I kind of gave him a side eye. I mean, it's family, so I love him, but it's like, really, bro? Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
yeah,
I hear you. Yeah, no, it's happened to me too. My next door neighbor listed their house with another agent, you know?
yeah. It happens to me in this neighborhood I'm in now so often.
Yeah,
It honestly offends me. So I'm
yeah,
like, I'm just gonna start knocking on everyone's door
right.
around the time everyone gets home and just be like, I just want to say I'm the agent in the neighborhood. So,
Right. Right, because here's the thing. Even if we tell people that we're in real estate, guess what? They forget, right?
hmm
We aren't top, we don't stay top of mind. Even it might even be that if you asked them, what does Kirsten do, right? They would be able to answer that question, but we're not top of mind, right? And so when they are interested in buying a house, they hop on Zillow, right? They see a house they're interested. They click the link on Zillow and suddenly they're talking to somebody that, Zillow sold their name to. And now instead of using you, they're using another agent, right? So, what we want to get into today is how to use command, specifically, how to use the smart plans in command so that we can stay top of mind with our sphere. And we're really going to talk a lot about our sphere today, but the things that you're learning about the sphere about staying in touch with your sphere, you can use these things for anybody that you need to stay in touch with. I'm just going to be using a lot of smart examples that are sphere oriented today, but you could do something very similar with anybody else. Okay. Um, I have put on the calendar that we're going to go for an hour today. It'll be a tiny bit shorter than that because I do have another meeting immediately after this one. So we'll go until about five of or something like that. Um, so it'll just be a tiny bit shorter than that. But during this whole time, please just interrupt me at any point. I'm happy to answer whatever questions come up. Also, if anybody's interested, I do have a list of different ways you can learn command. Okay, it gives you some different options. There's something called the 66-day challenge where you watch one video a day. There's a website where you can just go to get answers. And I'll point some of those out today. But if you would like me to send you that email, could you send me a text? Don't put it in the chat because I'm not going to do this until like a few more hours. So I won't see the chat anymore. But if you send me a text, I'm happy to just send you that email that has kind of those different ways to learn command. All right. Um, Before we even get started on jumping into command, I want to hear from a couple of people. Like, what do you think? What's this going to do for you if you were able to manage command better, if you were able to use command to keep in touch with people better? We've already heard some about, having somebody use another agent. Any other things you can think of that would benefit you but to do this?
I'll jump in there, and I want to, excuse me. for me, just be more efficient. Like I believe
Yeah.
I've been using my phone to like
Yes.
say, oh, I got to call this person in 2 weeks, or I got
Yeah.
to call this person next month. And when you got 15 people that you're juggling and you got
Yes.
to schedule calls, I just think that knowing how to use command and getting it set up properly with your smart plans, sending out, automated messages,
Love
it goes
that.
a long way with efficiency.
I was hoping somebody was going to say that. That's where I was going to go if nobody said anything, but that's exactly what I was hoping somebody would say. Yes, when you're first getting started, you only have 5 people you have to keep in touch with, right? You can remember that, right? But as you add more and more people, imagine this. Imagine that you started doing an open house every weekend. And every weekend you met 3 people, 5 people, 10 people, whatever it is, who have some possible real estate interest coming up. It might be next month, it might be next year. So every weekend, then I'm adding more and more people to command. How in the world would you keep track of those if you didn't have a system? Probably you wouldn't, right? Probably you wouldn't. And then here's what would happen. All these people who you spent 2 hours at each of these open houses, maybe 3 hours, maybe you door knocked, you spent a whole bunch of time trying to get all of these leads from this open house. And if you're not following up, you might as well not do an open house. I'm going to say it strongly like that. If you're not going to follow up for the long term, you might as well not do it. Because the people who attend an open house, they're probably not thinking about buying this month. They're probably 3 months out, 6 months out, a year out, something like that. And if you don't follow up, they will forget you. Same thing with our sphere, which we're really focusing on today. If we don't stay top of mind, we're going to run into that situation that all of us have run into. Either we've already had this happen or we will soon. It happens to everybody. But we're going to have all these situations where someone we know uses another agent, right? And we just hate when that happens. So this is really important for you to learn command. All right, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and open up command, and we'll start talking about it. Okay, so this is my personal command that you're looking at. Okay, I run my real estate business out of command as well, and I'm going to start by going over to contacts. All right, so in your command, if you have attended orientation, or those of you at Legacy, if you've met with Allison, she did it. You at some point imported everybody you know into command. If you haven't done it yet, you can still do it. If anybody doesn't know how to do it, send me a text. I'll send you the link for how to do it. It's really easy. Actually, I'll kind of even talk about it here. Command on your laptop, like I'm using my command today, is linked to my phone. So what's great about that is if I put somebody in my command, whatever changes I make, maybe put some notes in there, maybe I, you know, have their phone number, I have their email, whatever I have in there, I'm going to be able to see that information also on my cell phone. I'm going to have it with me as I'm out and about. I don't have to worry about get in my phone here, my Face ID, here we go. So I can show it to you. I'm going to be able to carry my phone around with me, and all that information is going to not only be on my laptop, it'll be on my phone, including my tasks. The tasks are some people I need to call, right? You can see I didn't do my phone calls yesterday. I got to do them today. These are people I need to call today. All right. Those are there here on my laptop. They're also in my tasks on my cell phone. So imagine this. Imagine that you took the time to put people in command. You took the time to use these things called smart plans, which are then creating tasks for you. Imagine you took that time, and now, a couple of weeks later, you're sitting about to show a house. Your buyer sends you a text that they're running 15 minutes late. All right, so you're in your car, you got 15 minutes to kill. I can really easily just go into my command app, and just do one of these tasks. I can just call a person. I don't have to think about it first. I don't need to think, who do I need to call? I just go to my tasks and I can see it. So what getting organized this like this, what that has done for me is that has made it so that I know all of the things that I have to do and I can use my time a little bit more efficiently. All right. So we've got some contacts in here, right? There's a lot of people in here. I have used tags, okay, to group people. Okay. So for example, in 2024, I bought a table at a bridal expo. I have 2,200 people from that bridal expo in command that are getting communication from me. Some of them are only getting emails from me, some of them I'm calling, depends on the person, but I have them in my command. I have some expired listings in my command. I have some investors in my command. I have some people in my sphere. I have some people that were online ads that I got all kinds of people in command. And I'm going to use Smartplans to help organize them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a contact. I'm going to make a person in here so that we can kind of play around with some things. To do that, I'm going to click Create Contact. And we are going to do Elmer Fudd. I personally like to do cartoon characters just because then I know that they are fake. Let's call that, there we go. And I'm going to make a phone number up. Okay, so I'm not going to get too in depth with how to create a contact. Basically, this is what it looks like is you just put in the information you know. Let's say I met him at an open house and I'm going to add some tags. He's a buyer lead. Okay, and I click create. So now I've got a contact. Okay. All right. I did an open house lead, but I want to talk about Sphere. So I'm just going to change that. He's not an open house lead. Let's call him Sphere. Okay. For your lead source with your Sphere, you could do it like this, where everybody is just labeled Sphere. Or you might choose to divide people up. You might have a lead source that just says like work or neighborhood, and that would be fine. Or what I do is I have them all as sphere of influence for the lead source, and then I add tags for how I know them, like friend or something like that. All right. So let's say you have a contact, you put this person in, and pretend that I want to stay in touch with my friend Elmer here. All right. In the past, if you've been to a bunch of sessions with me, you may have heard something called a 36 touch. Has anybody heard of a 36 touch before? Anybody?
Never.
Never. Okay. Well, this will be your first time then. All right. A 36 touch is a way of keeping in touch with your sphere by reminding them that you're in real estate at least 36 times in the year. Okay, so it's called 36 touch because each person is getting 36 touches throughout the year. Okay, and a 36 touch could be made up of a lot of things. If I would actually suggest Googling it just to see different things that people do. Okay, but let's just throw out some ideas. If you wanted to make sure that you reminded someone that you were in real estate at least 36 times a year, what are some things you might do? Anybody have some ideas?
Call,
The
text,
buyer seminar we just did.
Okay.
buy something. Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so idea number one is invite them to a buyer seminar. Like maybe how often are you gonna do a buyer seminar?
Maybe quarterly.
Quarterly. I love that. Okay, so let's pretend then you're gonna have a quarterly buyer seminar. So quarterly, you're gonna invite them to a buyer seminar. So that's 4 touches. Love that. Okay, give me some more ideas.
Sports schedule magnet.
Okay. Sports schedule magnets. So I'm going to do a mailing, right? I'm mailing them a sports schedule once a year. Love that. Okay. What else?
Monthly newsletters.
Okay, monthly newsletter. How am I sending the monthly newsletter? Is it email or a printed thing?
Email.
I do both.
Okay, maybe both. Okay, so we could do a monthly newsletter. It could be printed, could be email, could be both. What else could I do?
Popeyes.
Pop buys. Who can explain what a pop buy is?
So basically just popping up, just not popping up empty-handed, but just popping up, hey, just a reminder I'm in real estate. If you have any
Yeah,
questions or what's something new that's been going on, like even if it's just something I try to remind myself with is that I'm not just in the business of selling a house, I'm in the business of building a
yeah,
relationship.
yeah.
So I ask people a lot, like, is there anything that
Okay.
you're working on the house, like a home project? You need a, like my neighbor, he comes to me for everything whenever he needs
Uh-huh.
a handyman or something like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. A lot of times when people talk about a pop by, they're talking about a physical object that has some kind of note attached to it that you drop off at their house. Okay, so I might see, so for, we just had St. Patrick's Day, right? So I bet you there are a lot of agents did some kind of St. Patrick's Day pop
yeah,
by.
yeah,
I don't know, a bottle of Guinness, I don't know, like some kind of Lucky Charm. I don't know. They thought of something and dropped it off at houses. Okay. That is a very common thing to do something like that. And it does remind somebody that you're in real estate. It also sounds like you're, Isaiah, doing maybe a quarterly phone call. That could be too, right?
yeah,
So maybe I'm going to once a quarter call each person in my sphere and find out how they're doing, right? It's just kind of a check-in, but somewhere in that conversation, I'm reminding them that I'm in real estate and asking, do they have any upcoming real estate needs? Love that.
yeah. Even
What?
like rentals and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe what else could we do?
Um, have like events, small events.
Okay, I love that. An event. Yeah. And actually we mentioned the homebuyer seminar.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah,
At the end of the school year, you know a lot of teachers, so you're gonna have a teacher appreciation event. Maybe you're doing home buyer seminars or home seller seminars. Maybe you're going to have at our legacy office in around Thanksgiving, we have like this pie party, right? That would be an event. You can have all kinds of events, and with an event, that gives me an opportunity really to reach out to them a bunch of times, like probably four or more times, right? Because maybe I'm going to, if I had an event, maybe I would send them an invitation in the mail. Maybe I would then call them to make sure they got the invitation. Maybe I would send them a text reminder about the event. Then I would see them at the event or not see them at the event if they don't show up. And then afterward, I'm going to call them and thank them for coming or call them and say, sorry, you couldn't make it. Right. So that's a whole bunch of touches just from one event. Love that. What else could I do? It's a really big one that nobody's mentioned yet. How about social posts?
oh yeah,
Yeah, that's a huge one, right? Like, what if you um, you're posting to social media? Maybe you're doing a lot of your posts are not real estate oriented, but then you're also posting about real estate however many times you decide a week. But maybe you're also going to send a direct message to somebody. Maybe you're going to make sure that you're doing that a certain number of times a year. It could be birthday cards. You could send out a home anniversary card. You could for people who own a home, you could do a quarterly or annual, just once a year, maybe it's going to be like a CMA for them. Maybe you just send everybody a CMA once a year. So, we among us threw out a whole bunch of ideas of ways that you could stay top of mind, right? Um, some of the ideas are things that would work for just about anybody, right? Like a monthly newsletter, I could send that to anybody, right? Some of them maybe are more specific, like with events, if it's a home buyer seminar, I might have a different audience than a home seller seminar, right? Or maybe I'm not going to invite everybody I know to my pie party because those pies are expensive. Maybe I'm going to invite like a select group of people to my pie party. So, what we're seeing here is that we're thinking of all these ideas for how to stay top of mind, but some of the ideas are only going to be for specific people in command, right? Specific people. So what I kind of want to talk about today then, this is a big lead up to this, is we want to use command to make all of that easier. Okay, because if does that sound overwhelming to anybody to try to figure out how to do that with all of these people? Anybody? No? Doesn't sound an over no? All right, good. But let's kind of see how you might do this. Okay. So I'm going to start with the one of the things we talked about, which was a quarterly phone call. Okay. So let's say that I wanted to make sure I called everybody in my sphere 4 times a year. Okay. There's two different ways you might do this. And maybe you're going to do this differently for different people in your database, completely up to you. Okay. But option one would be to use a smart plan called quarterly phone call. All right, now we haven't talked about smart plans yet at all, which is kind of the topic we're about to get into. This is our whole, what our session is really about is smart plans. A smart plan is a way of automating command. I'm automating command. Either I can have it send emails and texts for me. I can have command remind me to make phone calls, or I can have command remind me to do something, like send a birthday card. Okay. So we're going to just start automating all of these types of things using command, using smart plans. So with Elmer Fudd here, let's say I wanted to remember to call him once a quarter. All right, here's what I would do. I'm in his contact and I'm going to click on smart plans. Okay. And I'm going to click add to smart plan. If you're following along with me, you do not have the same smart plans as I do because I've added a lot of smart plans into my command already. You're going to be able to do the same thing after today. That's what we're trying to do. So because I have a lot, I can't just scroll through and find my smart plan. So I'm going to type in QUART because what I'm looking for is quarterly call, my quarterly call smart plan. If you have this smart plan already, go ahead and click on select. And I'm going to start the smart plan for Elmer Fudd here today. I'm going to hit start now. I also have the option of starting it on a different day. Okay, like for example, let's say I'm doing this, I don't know, for a whole bunch of people. I might not want to start everybody all in one day. I want to start him on, I could choose a different day, but I'm going to do start now. And I'll have to check that I've read this disclaimer. I could confirm. That's how easy it is to put him on the smart plan. So now he's on the quarterly call smart plan. Okay. What the quarterly call smart plan does is it will give me a task every day. I'm sorry, every quarter to call him. So I don't have to remember to do it. So let me click on my tasks here. See if he's in here. I'm going to type his name in here. Yep, Siri, here he is. I just made that Elmer Fudd contact, and I have a task to give him a phone call. All right. I'm going to pull up my phone here. Okay, because I don't know if you can see that, but I also have this task on my phone already. And I wanted to show you that to show you that command is instantly syncing between your phone and your desktop. So I can switch between the two as often as I like. All right. So I am right now going to use my phone, and hopefully this fake number I made up isn't a real number because I'm about to call it. Okay. what I'm going to do is I'm using my cell phone to do this task, and then you're going to be able to see how this works. All right, so it says quarterly phone call. To make a phone call, can you see the button that says call on my phone? That's all I have to do is tap call. Okay, and then it asks me, try to get that to show, if I'm using my personal cell phone number. So I'm going to hit call. Okay, and you can see my phone is now calling that fake number, and it's telling me it's in a wrong number. So I'm going to hit hang up. All right, pretend I just talked to him. Okay, pretend I just talked to him and had a conversation. My phone is saying, do I want to mark the task as complete and add an activity? I'm going to add an activity. I'm going to leave some notes about my phone call. I don't have to type them. I can just, in the description, tap the microphone. Now I'm about to do a voice to text note. So here it goes. He wants a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Owings Mills, and he's looking to move in about 6 months. Okay, so I hit save. So I just used my phone to complete that task. All right, I'm going to go to Elmer's contact here. See, I used Elmer Fudd twice. I think this is one for today. Nope, got the wrong Elmer Fudd. Have him in here twice. All right. So you can see, look, it says in my timeline, can you see that? You saw that note. I just left that as I was calling him. I just did voice to text to record that note, and you can see it's here already. He wants a 3-bedroom, 2-bath townhouse in Owings Mills, and he's looking to move in about 6 months. All right, so what do you like that? Like, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? To just be able to have that task automatically record my note right there. So now I don't have to remember when I need to call Elmer Fudd. I just wait until that task comes up. I call him, I leave my note. I can see all of my notes from the last time I talked to him. All right, let's try it again. I'm going to go back to Smartplans, and let's look at some other Smartplans I can do. Well, actually, let's do it this way. I'm going to go over the left side of my screen and click on Smartplans. What I'm seeing right here are the Smartplans that I have in my command. Okay, so you can see I have things about, I did one about an FHLB grant recently, did an open house thing, I had February homesteads. I'm making my own Smartplans. There are Smartplans in the library already. There are Smartplans that you already have that do a lot. And you can add to them using Smartplans from the Smartplans library. Okay, let's try this out. I'll click on Smart Library here. All right. So somebody mentioned a newsletter, right? Somebody mentioned writing their own newsletter. Okay. One of the things that's kind of like that, that would take no work at all, is to use one of the Smartplans in here that's sort of a general real estate update. It's not a newsletter per se, but it's a quick monthly email about real estate. All right, I just happen to know a person who writes really good Smartplans like that. So I'm searching on, her name is Kimber Walton. I put that in author name. Okay, and I'm going to search and see what I can find. I don't know why it's not searching. There we go. Okay. All right, so here it is. 36 Touch Part 1, Kimber Walton. Okay, so this is going to download 3 different parts. I'm just going to add this. Okay, it makes me download all 3. Okay, here we go. It says I have it already. Okay, so I've already got it in here. So it doesn't like, let's go back to my Smartplans. I didn't add it because it's in here already. So let's find it. Here we go. Okay, so this is a Smartplan that just has some general information in it. Look at that. Um, it's a pretty email. Let's look what it says. I can preview it. This month in real estate, 4 frequently asked buyer questions. Okay. It's going to automatically have your phone number in there, your name, your photo, all that. If I look at
Hey,
email,
Kirsten,
yeah.
how would we get the ones that we don't have that you have? Because I try to type Kimber in on mine, and it's not pulling it up.
If it's not pulling it up, you might be spelling her name wrong, or you might. I searched on author name and it's Kimber.
Yeah, it says no results. I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Well, you know what? You're in the building, so I can come. You can show me later.
Okay,
Probably. Are you looking in the library instead of my smart plans?
let me look.
See up here, right? Instead of being on my smart plans, I clicked library first.
Okay,
If you didn't do that, make sure you're looking in the library.
library. Okay.
Yeah. So think of the library as a place where you can go to get smart plans. Every Keller Williams agent can upload their own smart plans. Okay, so because of that, there's a lot of smart plans in the library because so many agents do that. And some agents are better at it than others. So you're going to start to find agents that you think write really good smart plans, and so that you can just start using them. So option one is that I can search through the library and find smart plans that I like, right? And maybe you're going to find something that you already like that's already there and you don't have to do anything yourself. I can also create my own smart plans. And here's what that would look like. So I'm looking at my smart plans right now and I'm going to click on create. And I'm going to name my smart plan just test 2 so that I remember to delete it. That's just a reminder to me that it's not a real thing. You would name it something that makes more sense. Okay, so let's say that you were going to make something for staying in touch with your sphere, right? A smart plan can have a task that means like an item you would do. It could have a phone call, a reminder to call somebody. It can send an email, it can send a text, and it can also add to another smart plan. So I'm going to create a new smart plan here that's sort of custom for staying in touch with your sphere. So as an example, let's just use the one that Isaiah was mentioning, an event, right? Isaiah's going to have an event. What event are we having at Isaiah?
Um, we're having spring social.
A spring, so love that. Okay, a spring social. Okay, what is the first thing I want to do for this
Uh,
event?
First thing I want to do is send emails out
Okay,
so that way people,
love
if they
that.
are checking their emails, they have an idea that
Love
it's
that.
happening, and then I'll make
Okay,
calls and
yeah. All right, let's
yeah.
do this. So step one, you said an email. So on day one, I'm going to send an email. So I'm dragging email here. There are 2 types of emails you can do. You can do a simple email, or you can do a designed email. Doing a designed email is longer than we have today, so I'm not going to be able to get into it. If you're interested in getting into it, though, just send me a text. I'll send you a link that kind of goes over how to do the design. It's not that hard. I just only have so much time today. So we're going to do a simple email right now. Okay, so spring social, and then blah, 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 blah. Whatever I'm saying here, let me just copy and paste that a whole bunch of times. Okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you're going to type out an email. Okay, and I'll add a step. You're just going to have to pretend that I typed a long email. But let me just show you one thing that you can do in your blah, 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 right? I can use links. I can add formatting. I can do something called a merge tag. So that's really, really powerful. See this little plus sign here? If I choose add merge tag, I can put their name in the email, right?
Ooh.
Contact first name, right? So maybe it says, hey, Isaiah, blah, 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 whatever it is. So the merge tags you can add are their first name, last name, email, phone, birthday, home anniversary, and then your info as well. Okay, the one I use all the time is the first name. Like that's the one I'm using left and right. The other ones I don't use as much. But that's pretty nice. It makes it look custom, right? And I can format, I could add links if I want to, text color, all the formatting you're used to. Okay, and you're just going to pretend I typed a nice long email. Okay, so on day one, I'm going to send an email. Okay, let's add another day. What's happening on day two, Isaiah?
On day two, we're calling everyone
Okay,
to see if
and
they
to
got the
invite them.
email. Yeah.
Love that. Okay, so I hit add day. So this is on day two. I'm going to make a call. Okay, so my task is going to say call, and then I'm going to use another merge tag, call first name, last name. It's really good to add merge tags into the task name. And the reason why is when you're using your phone to make these phone calls, I don't see all of the details. I see only this one line. And so at least if I have their name there, I know who I'm calling. Okay. It'll say their name later, but it's just in bigger bold. And I also like to do say about spring social. Okay. If I add a little bit more detail into the task name, I find it's a lot easier to do this from my phone. When I'm on my laptop, it doesn't matter as much. You can type a description if you want to put more details in there if you'd like to, but I don't really need to. And then you can say, when is this task due? It's due today. Or maybe if I'm going to add this to a whole bunch of people, maybe I'm going to give myself 4 days before it's due. So the task will show up in my task list, but it's not going to show as past due yet. I can also choose to have the task show up at a certain time of day. So I'm going to have the task show up early in the morning so that I'm at 8 o'clock, I'm ready to go if I want. All right, I'm clicking add step. Okay, so we're sending an email. On day two, we're going to send a text. I'm sorry, make a call, which might take a few days for me to get through all of them. How about on day three, I send a text? Okay,
Yeah.
so I added a day, and actually, we haven't done this yet. Let's just add a little delay. Whoops, I went the wrong direction. Let's just make it on day four. I'm going to send a text, or it could be day seven, whatever day you want. Okay, I'm going to take this, send a text, and drag this over. All right. You have two types of texts. There's an automated text, or you could have a task that tells you to send a text. And I use both of them for different reasons. So let's talk about sending an automated text first. Automated texts use something called Twilio to send your text message. In order to use Twilio, if you want to do this, you have to add a Twilio account. We can't do that during this meeting because it's going to take you a few minutes to get it set up. And part of it is choosing a phone number. And so that always takes people the longest, like figuring out which phone number they want. Because when you use Twilio, it comes from a different phone number. Okay, you see this with me. When I'm sending out text messages reminding you about classes, I've done exactly this. I'm in command using Twilio to send a text message. It comes from another phone number. Okay. So you might decide, okay, these are people who know me. They aren't going to recognize this phone number. Instead, I want a task telling me to send a text from my phone. Or you might say, no, I'm going to send an automated text, but I'm going to say at the beginning who I am. This is my work number or something like that. Completely up to you how you want to do that. Okay. Either an automated text will come from Twilio from a different phone number, or I can create a text task where I remind myself what I want to text them and I can copy and paste it. Questions about that?
So even with the automated, that you can put your description of what you wanted to send in your
Yep,
box
sure
right there.
can. Yep,
Okay.
yep, you sure can. So I might say, Are you joining us? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to keep typing. Okay.
Yeah.
Same thing. I can still use a merge tag. So it has their name in there. And I
Okay.
can type out whatever the text is, and it will come from my Twilio account. Add step. So just imagine this. So we only had four things happen here, right? But imagine if you were to do this for like with an event, I'm not going to do this over a long period of time, right? It might because the event's coming up, you know what I mean? But then maybe I add another step later to call them and thank them for coming, right? But you could do this for all kinds of things. You could do with your sphere, maybe you're going to want to offer them a CMA. Maybe I make a smart plan where I send an email out asking if they want it. I have a call task to call them, and then maybe I do one or two more things. These smart plans could have lots and lots and lots of steps to them. You can have smart plans that go on for a year. Okay. Super, super powerful. And when I click Save Plan, okay, I'm going to close it. Okay, I'm going to rename this one Spring Social just so we remember what it's called because I'm going to use it in a second. I'm going to edit this, call it Spring Social. Okay, save, close. Keep editing. Did I save that? Save. Yep, close. Okay. All right. So let's put Elmer Fudd on that Spring Social Smart Plan. Find Elmer. Okay, it's this one. Go to Smart Plans, add Smart Plan, Spring Social. Okay, so now he's on two Smart Plans, and we already had that email go out, right? Like that's going to go out shortly if it hasn't gone out already. That was step one, was to send an email. And then it will keep doing the smart plan. I'm going to have to delete it or else I'm going to be getting tasked to call Elmer Fudd, which I don't want to do. So I'll delete it later. But can you see where this kind of thing would make this a lot easier? So let's take this back a step to working on connecting with your sphere, right? So we had some ideas. We had a newsletter, right? I could write a newsletter in Command and have that send out. If I didn't want to do my newsletter in advance, I can still use the same thing. I'll just do a smart plan that only has one step in it. The one step is sending out a monthly newsletter. Okay. I could do a quarterly phone call smart plan, reminding me to call people quarterly. We said when we do events, we would do a smart plan that would remind us to call them, it would text them. It would remind us it could remind us to send an invitation, whatever it is. There's even more smart plans. There's a birthday smart plan, a home anniversary smart plan. So what I would do for yourself is to think through everybody in your sphere and how you can stay top of mind. And I'm going to show you a couple of my favorite smart plans that would work through this. Looks like we have, let's see. Okay, so I'm going to go to Elmer Fudd here, add smart plan. All right, one of my favorite smart plans is called Monthly Neighborhood Nurture. Has anybody used Monthly Neighborhood Nurture before? Anybody recognize that?
No.
No? Okay. So, let's see. I'm gonna real quick, I want to show you what it does, but I have to delete my email address from another. Let's see this. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna really look. Let's see, back to contacts. I'm looking for where it has my email address. Is it this one? No, that's my Gmail. Back to contacts. Oh, here we go. All right. I'm going to just delete my email from this contact so that I can do this with Elmer. Command will not let you have the same email or phone number for two contacts. Okay. All right. So we got Elmer Fudd here. I'm going to put in a real email address for him so that you can see what this looks like. Uh, I'm using my KW email here just as a demonstration. Okay. Also, in order for this smart plan to work, I have to have an address. So I'm actually just going to put my personal home address in there because I know it's a real address, and I'm hitting save. Okay. When you put an address in for a contact, Command will figure out the neighborhood they live in. These neighborhoods are from Nextdoor, the Nextdoor app. That's where those neighborhoods are coming from. 95% of the time, it's going to be able to find a neighborhood. Sometimes it won't. I see that really often where, let's say that I have like, there's an old farmhouse and there's a development right next to it. That old farmhouse might not be in a neighborhood. Okay, so when that happens, you're going to click this Add Neighborhood button, click Find on Map, and you're going to pick a neighborhood that's close to wherever it is. So you have to pick something. So this this smart timeline I'm about to show you uses a neighborhood. Okay, so if I have a contact that has an email address and a neighborhood, I can use the smart plan. So let's check it out. I'm going to go to Smart Plans, click Add to Smart Plan, and the smart plan I'm going to use is called Monthly Neighborhood Nurture. And I'm going to hit Start Now. What Monthly Neighborhood Nurture does is it sends an email that has the active listings in that neighborhood. Can you think about that for a second? Like, how useful is that? Don't you think people would love to see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to pull up my email right now. You get to look at my email. Here's my email, and here's Monthly Neighborhood Nurture. This is what Command just like, hi Elmer. This is what Command just sent me. Is it showing me, okay, the average list price in my neighborhood, average days on market, one pending property, and I can click Explore, and then Command's going to show me the activity in my neighborhood. Market snapshots, recent listings, nearby schools. It gives me some really good information. Try it on yourself, right? So, kind of in learning smart plans, the very next thing for you to do is just start playing around with this. Okay, so put yourself in command if you're not already in there. Start playing around with these smart plans, start adding them to yourself so that you know what they look like before you try it on somebody else. And then just jump into it. Because imagine this. Imagine if everybody in your database was on Monthly Neighborhood Nurture. They're getting an email every month with the activity in their neighborhood. I've gotten listings just based on that email, just because people love that email. They read it. I have a pretty good open rate on it. It's valuable. What if you did that? What if you added Monthly Neighborhood Nurture to everybody you know? What if you added quarterly phone call smart plan to everybody you know to remind you to call them? What if you added more smart plans like the birthday smart plan or the home anniversary smart plan? Or what if you added smart plans to just that monthly one I showed you that just has some general real estate info? You could stay in touch with your sphere. You could do a 36 touch, and Command would be reminding you. Command would be reminding you who you need to call every time and would be sending so that you have that leverage. Questions on that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Try it. That's the next step, is to just play around. Just start playing around. Because as you use it, you're going to learn more, right? And I think it's a great idea. Go in the library and just download a bunch of smart plans. Take a look at them, see if you like them. Add yourself to that smart plan and see if it's something that you want, and then you can use it for a lot of people. Um, I want to show you a quick website for when you have questions. I personally love this website. I use it all the time for myself if I have a question, but also if I need to explain to somebody else how to do something. Oh, you know what? I shared the wrong screen. Hold on. Let's try that again. I don't know about you, but I always have way too many windows open. Okay, here we go. All right, back to my email here. Okay, so if I, sorry, might get this Zoom thing out of my way here. Um, totally blanked on what I was going to show you. Oh, yeah, no, okay. Okay, answers.kw.com. Okay, answers.kw.com. This is the place to go if you have command questions. You can type in to your question into the search bar, or you could just go straight to command and ask questions. Command, the command app, all kinds of stuff you can get here. And if you need tech support, you can hit submit a request. Like if you need some kind of, if something's off. So anyway, I hope you'll play around with it. Start playing in command as you run into issues. Go to answers.kw.com, send me a text if you have a question, because I believe that should you start using this, if you really start getting into command, putting your people in there, working through things, um, that's how you're going to stay on top of things. That's how you're going to stay connected with your sphere, and hopefully that cousin isn't going to list with somebody else instead of you. That's what we want, is to stay top of mind. All right. So everybody who coaches with me, not everybody on the Zoom is somebody who's coaching with me. Those of you who coach with me, we have another session starting at 12 on something called BrokerBot. Love it if you could stay around for that. Isaiah Milagro, I'm going to send you a text because you wouldn't have gotten this already. So I'm going to send you a text if you're able to join in. If you're not, I'll be recording it. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. And please reach out if you have any questions. But start using some Smartplans. I love it. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Hey, have a good one.
Have a good day.